As a filmmaker, we are not going to follow the hype. We're just going to share with you guys the workflow from capture to post-production. If you want to capture good quality 8K videos, you will need so much bitrate because we have so much information need to be saved. GoPro, we can max out at 300 megabit per second. The Insta360 X5 only max out at 200 megabit per second. While shooting videos, we're using variable bitrate, not using constant bitrate. So if you are shooting in a challenging environment, high bitrate is a must-have. But if you're just going to shoot into like a white studio, both of the camera can handle it effortlessly, and because of the variable bitrate, the file size will be super small. On a GoPro, we can fine-tune the bitrate. For example, if I want a 100 megabit per second video, I can fine-tune it on the GoPro. We cannot control it on the Insta360 X5. I spent my own time and money to make this video, so if you think this video is useful, press the subscribe button to send some love and support. Thanks. Next, we're going to share with you guys all the image quality problems on both of the 360 cameras. On the X5, we have some jello effect. I don't know, is it caused by the slow readout speed of the sensor, or because of the mount is vibrating like crazy, or maybe the noise reduction is too strong to cause these wavy line problems. Either of those, I use the same mount on both of the camera, and GoPro doesn't have all these problems. It only happens on the X5. Because of the mounting position and the length of the camera, we will cause so much vibration if you mount it on a mountain bike, your dirt bike, your cars, so much vibration. So X5, if you use it in bright daylight, you will have jello effect. And if you use it at night, you will have weird motion blur because everything are vibrating. All these problems doesn't happen on the GoPro. I guess it's all about the short length. If a camera can shoot good quality 8-bit, that's okay. But Insta360 shoot with a trashy 8-bit file. Color is not right. The blue is too saturated, more like a cyan. Before any color grade, color is already steppy. So look at the 10-bit file on the GoPro. There's no step on the waveform. And also GoPro can shoot in a wider color space. That's closer to Rec 2020, so you definitely have more information to color grade. GoPro has all iframe settings option. All iframe capture every frame as a standalone frame, but it also requires so much bitrate. On the X5, it doesn't even have a setting. Next, we're going to talk about the noise pattern. On the Insta360, we have heavy noise reduction even in bright daylight. This is stupid. Zero details even in the static shot. It looks like mashed potato totally destroyed the image detail. At night, it looks clean at first glance, but after you put it on a bigger screen, you will realize everything are potato. GoPro can increase the bitrate to save more noise, aka details, and we can adjust the noise reduction settings to the lowest. So GoPro, even in challenging moving situation, we still have all those details captured. There's another problem on the GoPro. At night, it will flicker like crazy. I guess it's the part of the noise pattern, but it's noticeably worse on one side of the camera. You can see right side of the image flicker at a higher frequency. Let's talk about the lens quality. On Insta X5, we have more chromatic aberration at the stitching line edge of the image. On the GoPro, chromatic aberration have better control, but the image is softer at the edge. Next, we're going to show you guys the usability on both of the cameras. So first, let's start with the battery door. So the battery door on the GoPro, we can take it apart and use it like this. So better thermal if you are not going to use the battery. On the X5, we have a separate door for the USB Type-C. The battery act like an entire door. So we gotta remove the battery to access SD card. On the GoPro, we only have one door to access the USB Type-C, the battery, and the SD card. We have 4 physical buttons on the X5, and 2 of those can be customized to whatever you want. This is really good on the X5. On the GoPro, we only have 2 physical buttons and none of them can be customized. I really like this function on the X5. You can set it to don't wake up using the touchscreen. You can wake it up with the power button, but with the touchscreen, it won't wake up. On the GoPro, you don't have this function, so every time you touch the screen, it will wake up the camera. If you want to connect your smartphone app to your camera, inside X5, it will take so long because it only uses Wi-Fi technology. On the GoPro, if you just want basic control, you can connect to your smartphone using Bluetooth. It's just so much faster. And if you want to check out the live image on the GoPro, you can choose to connect with Wi-Fi too, but we cannot choose to use only Bluetooth on on the Insta. So we have options on GoPro, and we always need to use Wi-Fi on the X5. On the X5, if you just want basic control on your phone app, like start recording, stop recording, that kind of stuff, you will always need to use Wi-Fi, and always it will transmit the image to your smartphone. It will drain so much battery on your smartphone, and your smartphone will heat up like a toaster. If you use your smartphone app to connect to your X5, you will always need to disconnect your Wi-Fi or close the app before you can regain the control on your X5. You cannot regain the control on the X5 if your smartphone is still connected to your camera. This is a stupid design. Sometimes I disconnect the smartphone to the X5 and it still cannot regain the control on the screen. So I have some footage. We are not bullshitting, it's real, so it's just like stupid design. This doesn't make any sense. After closing the app on the X5, the Wi-Fi is still connected. So several times I'm going to use the internet and I found out, wow, the Wi-Fi is still connected to the Insta. So I don't have Wi-Fi access, so I need to turn off the Wi-Fi or change the Wi-Fi manually. This is what? So for production, sometimes I need to rig the 360 camera maybe on the ceiling or some location I can't have access to the power button. So using the app, we have a special function on the GoPro. We can control with the app to control the power button, the entire power. So you can shut down the GoPro with the app. We cannot do it on the Insta, so it will be always on, hidden over there. The original protection inside the box is a little bit different, so the Insta goes with the little pouch that fully covers the entire camera, but this have a big problem because every time you pick up the camera or start to shoot, they are covered with a thick layer of dust. On the GoPro, we have a lens cap, so it's just like any other camera, like this camera or that camera. Every camera have a hard lens cap for a reason. You can buy the additional lens guard, like lens protection cover for the Insta360, but it's like an additional purchase. On the X5, we can customize the preset inside the camera, but we cannot choose our own preset in the app. On the X5, if you are recording, you have no idea what's your current settings at. On the GoPro, at least you can still see the resolution and frame rate. On the X5, we cannot change any camera settings with the app, so you always need to do the camera settings on the little screen on the X5. If you just want to put your camera on the table without any accessory to shoot your content, look at this. It's so much shakier on the Insta360. It's just so little footprint and it's so tall and it just shakes like crazy. So no matter the table is moving or maybe you knock the camera down and you will just scratch the lens so easily. So if you want to put the camera down, you gotta always take care of the lens because you gotta use some lens guard or put it back to the original pouch. On the GoPro side, it's just so easy. You just put it on the table without any lens cap. It will stay there. It will not tip over. It's really, really hard to tip over. If you're going to rig your camera into some weird spaces, weird places, I would recommend to use GoPro because Insta is only for, like, it's good for handheld and also selfie stick. Other than those are like totally unusable. It just causes so much weird vibration, just like the image I show you, the jello effect, weird motion blurs, crazy vibration. If you rig the GoPro, none of those problems will happen. It's just so much easier. It's short, it will not stick out that much. On the GoPro, we can choose between single clip or little chapter for safety if the file is corrupted. On X5, we can only do single clip recording. So we're in Insta360 Studio. We're rendering some videos with my GPU 5090 over here, and the optimization is so bad. It's just barely using the encoder and decoder. So the optimization is so bad. GoPro batch export is so much faster, but it's still not optimizing all the decoder and encoder on the 5090. So with the Insta software, it's easier to do some quick clip editing. If you are going to export the 360 file to other software, GoPro have better optimization. Which camera should you choose? If you choose the X5 is just a fun camera. It's just like, oh, I just want to capture the moment. I want to use my smartphone to quick edit. The 8-bit file, I don't need to think about like noise reduction. I don't need to color grade. I just want good image like iPhone. Like, oh, capture, good image, I want to post it on social media, that kind of stuff. So good for social media content. If you choose the GoPro, you are choosing the freedom for post-production. So you can do your own color grade, you can reframe your image, whatever you like. You can noise reduction, whatever you like. You can totally control your image just like a pro. The GoPro, they are creating camera for a niche market. Insta are a consumer product. This is just for fun. So depends on what you are going to do. Pick different tools. If you have any question, leave a comment below. I will reply to all of them. Thanks for watching.